Okay folks, welcome back to Green Iron TV. Today we're going to do a little arts and craft project. So on the M38a1, what we want to do is we're going to make a wheel disc for the spare tire on the back. So we have a piece of thin plywood, we'll cut that disc. We have some stencils from the guys over at Delta Team Decals that we're going to apply to that to be able to paint the 313th ASA and their logo and motto. Some paints to be able to do that with, and a couple pieces. So we've deducted a way to be able to attach this pretty easily to be able to go on and off on the spare tire. And so one of the things we're going to use is we're going to use a coupler, and we're going to put that on one of the spare tire studs, and then we'll be able to bolt into that. So that is how we're going to accomplish it. Only problem was studs are 1/2 inch 20 or a 1/2 inch fine thread, and at all the hardware stores I checked, I couldn't find 1/2 inch fine thread in a coupler. They had plenty of high 1/2 inch in coarse thread. They had metrics, they had them in stainless, they had them in chrome, they had them in everything but fine thread. So we're going to make our own fine thread. So what I actually did is I actually grabbed an M12 metric, which is just slightly smaller than 1/2 inch. So I'll be able to drill through that, have a little bit of meat left, and then retap it with fine thread so that we can thread that on that wheel stud, and have a way to be able to bolt to the back side of our placard once we get it all cut out. So that's what's coming up on Green Iron TV today. So sit back, enjoy, and like always, please hit a like, leave a comment, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate every little bit. So thanks, and enjoy. So one of the first things we got to do is we got to drill out this M12. And so we'll spray just a little lubricant there. Alright, that cleans out the threads down through it, which should give us some room to run the 1/2 inch 20 tap down through it and retap it with some new threads. Alright, after a bit of struggling here, we now have this tapped out all the way through to 1/2 20, which is fine thread, and the same as what our stud on the back of the Jeep is. So thread should be nice and clean now. We've run this all the way through. Alright, and back out. So okay, so now that tapped out all the way, we'll be able to thread that on in the back of the Jeep. Okay, so we want to get our disc and we want it to fit snug around this lip here. So these are 16-inch tires, but that 16-inch is to this inner lip. So we want to measure, see how far across we are, and we are actually 17 inches to that outer lip. So that means when we cut our piece, we want to cut a 17-inch diameter so that it'll fit in and lay nice against that lip. That way when we tighten it up, it'll be pulled in positive against that. So let's measure that out. Okay, so folks, to make our 17-inch circle, we've made a really simple little jig. We have 8.5 from the screw to the hole, and we're going to stick our pin in. We're going to kind of find around center here and stick our pin in. And there's our 17-inch circle. Okay, now that we got our disc cut and that it fits really good, now we got to figure out where to put the hole so we can get this bolt. So, easy way that we're going to accomplish that is we're going to stick the bolt in. Take a little paint. And then hold it up there. And that leaves us a transfer spot where our bolt was. So now we know where to drill. Okay, we know we need a 1/2 inch, so we're going to go ahead. Drill a 1/2 inch hole here. And we're going to be right back after we change the battery because the battery's dead, of course. Typical of anything, batteries always are dead. Alright, so there's our 1/2 inch hole. Voila! There's our disc, all mounted nice in the tire. So now we'll go ahead and we're going to paint the background of the disc white, and then we're going to apply our stencils that we got. So. Alright, we're going to be quick and dirty on painting this white. We have some of the leftover white Rust-Oleum from when we painted the ambulance crosses. So we're just going to cheat and use that. And we're going to paint this on here pretty heavy. We know this wood's going to soak it up, so we want to go pretty heavy. make sure we get around the edges there. Alright, we'll let that set up for a little while. Come back, put a second coat to it, and then we'll end up probably going to get some lunch. Okay, now that our paint's dry, we're going to start laying out the stencils. The first thing we're going to do is the shield for the ASA patch, and we're going to paint that in blue. So I've marked the center, and I know the center by folding, and marked the center on the top transfer piece. So we're going to lay that on and simply match up our marks. Alright, fill our top coat up. And lay some paper around that. Pretty simple, all laid out. Now all we gotta do is paint it and let it dry. Alright, now we're just gonna go nice, quick, and dirty with some blue paint. Just that simple. We'll go ahead and let that dry, and then we'll paint. We'll lay the next layer on top and paint the next layer. Alright, we remove the mask. Alright, there's our blue shield. Okay, now it's a little later in the day. The blue paint is dried. So now we're going to lay out and we're going to do our 313th Army Security Agency markings and their motto. These will be done in black. Alright, and now their mottos. We'll put these on either side of the shield. Alright, we'll match that up a little bit. Okay, now that we have it all masked off, we got some black paint, and we're just going to lightly spray some black paint there. All right. We'll let that set up for a little bit, and then we'll peel it back off. Okay, we're going to go ahead and peel it a little bit. Let's see what we got here. Okay, looking good. We're going to let that set up, then we're going to pick out the centers. Okay, now with the mask all peeled up, you can see the markings. 313th Army Security Agency and their motto, "In God We Trust, all others we monitor." So we're going to let this dry overnight, and then we're going to come back with our next layer, which is going to be the gold, which is going to be the outline of the shield and the eagle's talon. And then after that, it'll be white on the lightning bolts and brown on the eagle's leg. So looking pretty good, and we'll get that up and on the back of the Jeep soon. All right. Now that that's dried up, we're going to go ahead. We're going to do the mask here for the gold layer and get that sprayed. So this is for the border around the shield and the eagle's talon. And now we can go ahead and prepare to paint our yellow. And we'll let that dry and pull the mask up off of that. Okay, getting closer. Let that dry a second, and we'll pull up the mask. All right, down to just one last piece to paint, which is going to be the white lightning bolts. So we'll do that this afternoon. All right, let's peel up our last layer. Let's see what we look like. All right, there we go. 313th Army Security. Okay, with our panel all done, we'll put it on. We have our sleeve right there. We have our bolt that we'll thread into it. And we've gone ahead and painted it blue because it does lie in the middle of where the blue. So go ahead and line us up. All right, nice and tight and centered in. We can even go back with a wrench and snug it just a little extra if we need to. So everything's all nice and tight, and we're looking good. Okay, folks, that's going to wrap up this quick edition of Green Iron TV. We have our wheel disc all installed and looking good. So makes a nice little addition to the Jeeps. Gives a good look, makes it stand out in the crowd, and turned out pretty good. So like always, please give us a like, leave a comment. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. That way you can follow us for all of our Green Iron madness we got going on. So until the next time, stay tuned. And thanks a lot for watching.